We're live. Live. We're live. Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Clubhouse. I'm excited. Making some mashed potatoes. It's really easy on the tummy if somebody has gastroparesis or they get Crohn's or colitis or some kind of other intestinal tract problem, intestinal cramps, if you're someone that has spasms and lots of gastritis and all of that. So it's really helpful. It's just a simple meal, nice and simple. So I'm going to make that. I got some peas right here. Look at that. These are frozen peas. That's what they are, okay? Got the pan going. I'm going to get the pan a little hot. They were talking about overeating, by the way. Talking about emotions with food. Talking even a little bit about how it works when you're trying to eat healthier and you're around family and friends and how hard that is. I want to mention that again a little bit. So we'll talk about that too. And why do we overeat? Why do we feel like we have to overeat? How come we're so hungry? So many people are so hungry. Stress plays a role. I'm going to talk about the adrenals a little bit. I got some adrenals right in front of me right here. Got some kidneys too. Stress plays a role with that. And it can get us mixed into a whole bunch of eating disorder talk and eating disorder issues. We feel like we have eating disorders, or we feel like we're struggling with our foods. People don't understand us. People don't get it. And I mean, there's so many different places it all goes. So we're talking about some cool stuff. Good to see you guys coming on. Excited. Awesome. Happy to see you. Glad to see you too. Glad you guys are coming on. Incredible. So there's lots to cover. I'm excited. I'm going to get the pan hot right now, you guys. I'm making a mashed potato with some peas. And it's a simple dish. You could throw spices in there if you want. You can do that. You can throw onion powder in there. You can throw garlic powder in there. You can throw a little garlic in there too if you really want. I'm keeping it real simple to show that you know, for other people who are sensitive with garlic or they're sensitive with onion or something, that they can have it so simple. How cool is that? It'll be fun though. It really will be. And it'll taste good too. And if you really wanted to add a little bit of sea salt or a little bit of a high quality salt, because you're doing salt anyway, because I realize I can't get people off of salt. I want to get them off of salt. Then I can't get a lot of people off of it. It's like salt on everything, salt on all the food. Lorraine L, good to see you. Glad you guys are coming on, I really do. Lorraine, wow, man, all I know is I've been reading your comments on YouTube, and my mind gets blown because I think someone's on there. I think it was some dude on there, and he was a really nice guy. And he was talking about how on YouTube, he was talking about how, I think of whatever it is, that medical misinformation can help some people but not help others. And you were like, well, it depends on how you look at it. There's so many different options. There's 1,000 different protocols. You can customize it to what's happening in your life. And that's the difference. And the difference is that you can heal with the information because there's so much. You got the spiritual information. You got the physical causes. You've got supplements and dosages. And so I think people jump the gun a lot and they'll say like, you know, I didn't get better on MM when millions have around the world, and because they applied the tools, they applied them. So it's really a matter of like reading the books, learning, and healing. So you got Cleanse to Heal, by the way, you guys. I mean, that's on sale on Amazon.com US. It's really incredible. $16.99. This is $17 on Amazon US. The medical meme. That's got plague information in there too. I think what happens is that a lot of people were stuck. They were stuck inside the house. They were stuck home, and they were locked in. So many people were locked in and stuck with the plague and everything, and they were just eating with the stress, and then eating. And I don't blame anybody. It's just, it can happen. But food, Courtney, good to see you. Glad you came on. You guys are coming on TikTok. We're live on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Clubhouse. I'm excited to be here. Lots to cover. Talking about emotional eating, talking about overeating, talking about why we feel like we have to overeating, insatiable appetites, or how come we keep on going for that second and third helping, depending on what's happening there, and how you can do fruit and the difference there on when you do fruit, what happens with there. Lissy Cohn, good to see you too. Because fruit, people say, well, hey, look, I can't eat a lot of fruit. I can only eat a little bit of fruit because I don't want to have so much. And they don't realize they can have more fruit. Like what I do, I'll have 3 or 4 mangoes, in the morning, mid-morning, I'll have 3 or 4 mangoes. And a friend of mine told me, how can you eat 3 mangoes? Like, what are you doing, like 3 mangoes? Isn't that too many calories? I'm like, are you kidding? You know how many calories you're eating? And what you're doing? You're eating all kinds of abominations when you go out to restaurants, when you're doing this and that. I'm just eating 3 mangoes, Yeah, Lorraine, lots of interesting conversations, truly. But I got to tell you, you really, hands down, know the information. I know many of you guys do. Dr. Fawn, another expert, medical medium information. Good to see you. Glad you guys are coming on. Glad you could catch it. I know you're busy. You're busy in your busy practice and everything. So what happens is our brain overheats, you guys. Our brain overheats. That's what happens. Your brain overheats. It does. Heats up. Someone razzes you. Someone's putting pressure on you. Hey, what are you doing today? How come? Maybe it's your parents. Maybe it's family. Maybe it's siblings. Maybe it's friends. Someone's putting pressure. Or you got a busy schedule. Like, how am I going to get this done? How am I going to get that done? I'm overwhelmed. I got to make this phone call. I got to do this. How am I going to survive? What am I doing in my life? And whatever's happening, it overheats the brain. Boom, electricity's going on, right? And now, some other stuff happens too. Electricity's pumping through your head. That's what happens. And your adrenals start pumping. Brain starts overheating. Adrenals start cranking. Brain starts overheating. Adrenals start cranking. That's what happens right there to everybody. Okay? And then, here comes the food. Maybe you're somebody avoiding the food. Maybe you're doing the caffeine. You're cranking the chocolate, the matcha tea. Maybe you're cranking the coffee, espressos, and you're trying to avoid the inevitable. You're trying to avoid, eating. And then when you do eat at the end of the day, it's a whole bunch of stuff. And so we're going to talk about glucose, mineral salts, how that's missing, why we get so hungry in our brain. Because that's where the hunger's really, really stemming from. It's from the brain. Liver, too. It's another one. I'll cover that a little bit. So let me just get going with the food, too, a little bit. So, good that you guys are coming on. What happens to almost everybody is insulin resistance is stopping sugar from getting to your brain. Right there. So that's happening to everybody, really. So you got glucose, right? So, okay, you guys got the glucose. So everything you eat that's a carbohydrate, you eat some fruit, you have whatever you have, like potato, fruit, if you have something else that's sweet, right? Whatever it is, that glucose is how your brain functions. Right there, it's that glucose. Glucose has to get to your brain. It's hard to get to the brain when all this fat's in the way. So when you're eating all this fat, it's hard to get the glucose to your brain. The fat stops the glucose from getting to your brain. That's what happens. You get the insulin resistance. Your cells want to take in that sugar, but the fat's in the way. That's how it works. So you're going to inevitably overeat because your brain is going to be starving. Chris, good to see you. Yeah, mangoes. I'll do 2 or 3 mangoes in the morning, right? Heard from someone that the brain needs fat, not glucose. It's misinformation out there. That's a sad thing. So Michelle Brown, thanks for that comment. Of course you're going to hear that. But did you know that your brain... Check this out, you guys. Did you know... Jerry says, I definitely used to feel like that, especially around my period. Since the medical medium 369, it disappeared completely because when you're doing the 369, you were getting glucose and you were getting mineral salts. So glucose and mineral salts, okay? That's what you guys were getting, right? And we're doing some medical medium school. You guys cool with that? You guys cool with a little medical medium school today? Are you guys all right with that? Or are you guys sick of school? What's up? So that's because you were getting your mineral salts and your glucose, and that was stopping the want for overeating. So that really helps. So check this out. You love medical medium school, Lissy Cone? Good to see you today. So here's an important thing to understand, right? We're told that the brain needs fat. That's misinformation. The brain needs sugar. In 5 seconds, if your brain doesn't get glucose, sugar, in 5 seconds, it starts to die. You will die if your brain doesn't get sugar in time. Did you know that? Did you guys know that? Very important to know, okay? So let's cover that a little bit. Now, why is there so much misinformation out there? It's really sad because no one knows why anybody's sick. So then if no one knows why no one's sick, no one knows what causes chronic illness, no one knows why people are suffering and struggling. And you learn that when you get sick. You learn that fast. You learn that when you don't get better, and you just keep on spiraling in sickness. And you've been to your 10th functional medicine doctor and your 10th specialist and your 10th neurologist, and you can't get better. And you realize nobody knows why anybody's sick. And no one really, it's all guessing games, okay? And what happens is if your brain doesn't get sugar in under 10 seconds, it starts to die. Guess what? If your brain doesn't get fat within 10 seconds, it starts to heal. It starts to heal. Interesting. Okay? Think about how important that is. If your brain doesn't get sugar within 10 seconds, it starts to die. Really important information. Really, really is. Get a little steam in this pan. Try to cool this pan off a little bit too. Have that baby pump in. Okay? Your brain is made out of hardened glycogen, you guys. Your brain is made out of hardened glycogen. You know what that is? Sugar. Your brain is made out of sugar. It's only got traces of fat in the brain. Did you know if you eat a brain, it's sweet? Did you know it's sweet? It's actually sweet. It's glycogen that's been concentrated and hardened. Glucose running through the brain is the only way to truly keep the brain alive. You remove it, you die. That's it. Interesting. Isn't that incredible, right? So where did the theories come from about your brain needs fat? It was a theory to sell products fat-based. It was a trend. So it's like, well, your brain needs fat because there's fat in your brain. There's a little bit of fat in your brain, a little bit. Other than that, brain tissue is made out of glycogen. You know, it's disappointing, really, when I think about it. Like, how come people can't get it right out there? What's going on out there? And back to the same thing. Nobody knows why you got Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Nobody knows why you got eczema psoriasis. Did you know I saw somebody that someone showed me something, right? That someone took medical misinformation, which is that psoriasis is caused by toxic heavy metals, copper specifically, right? And they took that and they didn't cite it back to medical medium. There's no study. There's no science behind it. And a doctor put it on his thing that psoriasis, toxic heavy metals, right? Well, the only reason why the doctor knew that was because of medical medium books and information. Okay? It's almost like, so you don't have anything on chronic illness unless you take it for medical medium. Fact. That's what I'm seeing out there. It's really sad. Or they'll just say it's all in your gut. And in the end, you'll just stay sick. Lydia says he supports people who eat meat too. It's all about healing for everyone. Yeah, this isn't vegan propaganda, anti-animal protein campaign propaganda. Cold White Spring, good to see you. So good to hear the voice of reason again. I'm honored, truly, Cold White Spring. But here's the thing. I feel the same way about you. Because when I read your comments, I'm like, voice of reason. There's one when I read your comments, Cold White Spring, it's always like, yeah, voice of reason. You know? Darlene says, oh my God, I'm eating a potato wrap right now. It's funny, yum, yum. Lemon Balm Love, hey, another voice of reason. Podcast doctors always steal info. Fact. Podcast doctors always steal medical medium information. I'm going to take the skin off the potato. First of all, I always eat the skin on potatoes. It's an incredible, nutritious part of the potato. Absolutely. But I'm making a fun mashed potato dish, right? So I'm kind of removing some of the skin on here. Podcast doctors steal medical medium information. It's not published anywhere else. The medical medium books, right? And They take it. So now all of a sudden psoriasis is caused by toxic heavy metal. There's no study. They haven't discovered it in science. It came from spirit of compassion that the cause of psoriasis is copper, a toxic heavy metal. It's partly cause of eczema too, right? So when it comes down to everything like information about the brain, if you want to know more about the brain, you're not going to hear reason out there, because when they say your brain needs fat and your brain is made out of fat, two strikes against the industry right there, the fraud industry, the fraud alternative industry. Problem is with the alternative industry, basically most of it's all fraud. And all my friends are alternative doctors, incredible ones though. At least they know the difference, right? And then there's the conventional system too is fraudulent. It's completely fraudulent, especially in the virus world. Really fraudulent. And with virus, it's always the wrong information about viruses, the wrong information about all of it. I'm taking the skin off of these potatoes. You guys coming on here, I'm honored you're here. We got lots to talk about, right? And we're making some mashed potatoes. I got a pan that's hot. I got frozen peas right here, so I hope you stick around for that. It's an easy recipe. It's gentle on the system. I'm only peeling the potato, not because skins aren't good for you. They're incredible for you. That's actually an amazing part of the potato. But this is more of, hey, it's a comfort meal. I'm making some comfort food since we're talking about it, because that's the other thing too. Making some comfort food since we're talking about overeating. We're talking about emotional eating too, right? And how stress plays a role. The brain gets hot. So you guys check out Medical Meme Podcast at Apple Podcast. If you can catch up on some of the episodes, the blood draw episode is really critical to know, because you're just going to get caught getting too much blood taken from you. You're going to lose your immune system, part of your immune system. It's going to make you susceptible to other problems. I think I have to bring up the blood draw problem once in a while, because if I don't, people are just going to forget. They're going to get their blood tests. The doctor's going to take too much blood, and you're going to get, 5 vials, 5 full vials, 7 full vials, 8 full vials of blood. I just want to remind everybody, if you guys can, tell everybody about the Blood Draw podcast episode. Maybe share the link or let people know. It's Medical Meme Podcast at Apple Podcast. Because what happens is there's a whole bunch of people, I hear it every day, I just had 27 vials taken, I just had 15 vials taken, I just had 12 vials taken. And it's like, okay, great. A big part of your immune system was removed. Now you're more susceptible to the plague that's happening out there. One of the reasons why the plague got so annoying was because of all the blood draws prior. That was a big reason right there. All the blood draws prior, right? And people they were going into the plague with a weakened immune system just from blood testing alone. So I peeled some potatoes here, took the skin off. These are steamed, by the way. These are steamed potatoes. They're not raw. Steamed potatoes, it's the only way to cook a potato, really. That's the best way to do it. It's having a steamed potato. So I'm giving you kind of the rundown on that right there. Let me mash these up if you guys got a second. Thank you for coming on here. Lots to talk about. Susan Gabriel said, I recently told a technician only 2 half files. She said it wouldn't be enough. I said it's plenty. She said, okay. You fought for it. You fought for it. You fought for it. You took control over your health and you fought for it and you won. You won. And it matters. It matters. Austin, good to see you. It matters. It really, really does. Because when you get that blood taken, you lose your immune system. You do. Guess where the immune system is? It's in your bloodstream. I love when you hear the whole thing of the theory of your immune system's all in your gut. It's not all in your gut. It's not. Your immune system isn't microbiome. That's not your immune system. I bet you I'm pissing off somebody right now, I'm sure, because there's so much brainwashing in the cults out there about, your immune system being all in your gut, Everything's in your gut. all the gut products and the gut potions and the gut powders and the gut tests where you do the stool samples and you're looking for all the gut microbiome issues and everything else. Meanwhile, people just don't get better. They don't get, does that fix your Hashimoto's thyroiditis? Because I'm scratching my head over here. Does that fix a 4-year-old's eczema that's raging? And the 4-year-old can't even, the skin's cracking off the 4-year-old, the mom and dad are in perils. Does that fix that? I'm just curious. The gut health isn't everything for immune system. The immune system is in your bloodstream. And I've talked to doctors recently about this, and they said, well, tell me more about this, because the trend is your immune system's all in your gut. Yeah, there's a lot of immune system around the gut for sure, but the majority is everywhere else in the body. It's protecting your brain. It's in your bloodstream. So your immune system is in your bloodstream. That's the whole point. Your blood's circulating every single vessel, every single organ in your body, and it has to have white cells in it, white blood cells in it. It has to. That's how you stop a pathogen from going to the brain. That's how you stop infections. That's how you stop sepsis. That's how you stop blood poisoning. And then you got bacterial infections in the blood, and then you just die of sepsis in the hospital. It's because your immune system is all in your blood. That's the majority of it. There's a large amount in the gut, not in the intestinal lining, and that's the big issue right there. So if you want details, because details matter, it's not your microorganisms that are inside your gut creating your immune system. It's not good bacteria that are inside your intestinal tract. That doesn't create an immune system. I'm just letting you know. Good bacteria has nothing to do with creating immune cells. So it's important, right, to know that. So yes, you have white blood cells. Your immune system is circulating throughout every blood vessel around your gut, every blood vessel around every organ, but it's not inside your intestinal tract. You guys got to get that part straight anyway. Okay? You got your lymphatic system, right? Your lymphocytes. So that's another place right there, your lymphatic system, and it circulates around your torso. Most of your lymphatic system is around your torso, right? So you got your lymphocytes, but that's not the lining inside your gut. That's not your good bacteria and microorganisms inside your gut. This is so important to know. Details matter, because here's what's going to happen. You go to your gut health doctor. He's going to take 20 vials of blood and destroy your immune system while he's telling you how your immune system's all in your gut. You don't see the irony there? Because I'm kind of like scratching my head on that one. I'm like, okay, you went to the doctor. All right. He took 20 vials of blood, specialist. He's a gut health guy too, functional doctor, whoever it is. And he took, 18 vials of blood. He just annihilated your immune system for the next 3 to 6 months. Killed your red blood cells for the next 3 to 6 months. It takes a long time to get these blood cells back. It doesn't take 3 days. But yet he's telling you everything's in your gut. So here's some gut potions, here's some gut powders, here's some gut whatever. Let's talk about microbiome. And meanwhile, he just wiped out your immune system. Does that make a lot of sense to you? So you seem fine to me, good to see you. Chris, you said you love this stuff. It's good information, isn't it? Especially when you're already compromised. So here you are sick. Think about that, right? Think about that, guys. Just think about that for a second, right? You're already sick. You already got eczema, psoriasis, Hashimoto's, RA, lupus, neurological, Lyme, symptoms everywhere, vertigo, tingles and numbness, body pain, aches and pains. You feel like you're 100 years old. You don't feel good. You got brain fog. You got headaches. What else? Jaw pain, neck pain, teeth pain. What else is going on, you guys? You got all these compromises anyway, right? Plantar fasciitis, digititis. You got all these issues everywhere, your feet. You got problems with your body. You're hurting. And what happens is, right, you got all that. Okay, we're already compromised. So we go to the doctor, and then we get 8 vials drawn, 7 vials drawn, 10 vials drawn, and they're removing our immune system. But see, no one knows what's wrong with you. So you go to your gut health doctor. He doesn't know why you're sick. He doesn't know you got Epstein, Barr, shingles, cytomegalovirus, streptococcus, you got toxic heavy metals. He doesn't know that. So you go there. He doesn't know what causes your Hashimoto's. But then they remove a whole bunch of your immune system and then start saying, oh, you got to get your gut. It's all your gut. Your immune system's in your gut. It's like, okay, you get half vials. Check out Medical Meme Podcast at Apple Podcasts. Check out the blood draw episode if you guys get a chance. Check it out. Medical Meme Podcast at Apple Podcasts, the uncensored version. And, you guys, I'm going to do the brain meditation tonight. So that's on the podcast. Check it out. Medical Meme Podcast at Apple Podcasts, the brain meditation. I'm doing the brain. I scheduled a brain meditation for tonight for me. Narashini, good to see you. And Ichoda, good to see you. So I'm doing the brain meditation. Let's all do it together tonight. I'm probably going to do it 3 times tonight. I'll probably do it earlier in the night, middle, like a little later, and then probably later in the night too. Probably going to do it midnight is what I'm going to do. Midnight-ish. So if you do it at all, you'll catch it at one of those times. And maybe we can all connect. Maybe we can all connect while we're doing it. Medical Meme Podcast at Apple Podcasts. That's the uncensored version. All right. Mashing some potatoes right here. If everybody's so smart, how come nobody picked that off, the blood draw thing? I've seen people go downhill and lose their lives over it. People with neurological Lyme, they almost never recover. I mean, they just get the blood drawn out of them. You know how they start recovering? They stay away from the doctor for a little while, and they're home. They stay away. You know, it's sad because they're not getting blood drawn, and they're not getting every last bit of their immune system squeezed out of them, and then told their immune system is all in their microflora. Are you kidding? Microflora is not your immune system. That's not your lymphocytes, basophils, monocytes, neutrophils. Because I didn't know. I'm trying, you know what? I'm scratching my head here. You got all these brilliant alternative practitioners, brilliant doctors, nutritionists, dietitians, and everybody else. And I'm scratching my head because microflora is in neutrophils, basophils, lymphocytes, whatever, monocytes, white blood count, killer cells. I'm scratching my head on that one. Are you guys? Because is microflora all your immune cells? Because I'm kind of confused here. Are you? Or am I just stupid? Am I just stupid? I got it wrong? I'm confused on that one. So when they take your blood, you know why I'm talking about the blood draw thing? Because here's what happens. A little time goes by, people forget about it, or they didn't learn about it, and they're getting life sucked out of them, and then they're going backwards, and they're like, it was the celery juice. I had 16 ounces of celery juice for a week, and all of a sudden I was feeling kind of sick. You just got 8 vials pulled at the doctor's office that week. I haven't been here in a while. What has it been? Over a week now, you guys? I don't know how long it's been. But I made a promise to myself that I was going to... At me is the handle. Anthony, I was diagnosed with Graves' disease on Info since November. My symptoms are so much better. My thyroid has shrunk so much. Incredible. Like, incredible. I mean, you know what? That right there. Tomorrow morning, I'll wake up at 4:30 in the morning, 4:45. Spirit of Compassion is going to be talking to me. And you know what? I'm going to think about that at me. I'll think about that. Like, you know what? We help somebody else with Graves. Austin, have you been writing the next book? Yeah. Busting my arse on that. This is what I've been doing. Yeah, totally. Yeah. A book that's unmatched. A book that's going to blow the roof off the house, off the ceiling, whatever. Blow the roof off the universe. A book that's going to blow the roof off the universe. Okay? I mean, seriously, it's the book's going to be insane. And I'm only saying that because Spirit of Compassion is giving me the information and my mind's being blown every second. And when my mind's being blown, I'm like, whoa. So what happens is we get addicted to adrenaline. That's something well, first of all, let me just go into the brain a little bit more. Just a little touch more about the brain. Let me cover that a little bit more. I'm just making sure these are mashed and they look really nice. I'm mashing some potatoes right here. It's a comfort food right here for people. It's great. I make it for family too sometimes. So, we're told that the brain needs fat and is made out of fat. Wrong. Right there. I'm sorry, but it's wrong. Science battles itself constantly, by the way. Okay? You know what science said about caffeine back in the 80s? Top science. Science that could never be disputed. Conventional science that could never be disputed. You know what conventional science said in the 1980s? Caffeine will cause heart disease. Caffeine will worsen all your neurological diseases. Caffeine will cause diabetes, make it worse and worse, right? So that was the studies that came out in the 1980s. Did you know that? So the studies that came out in the 1980s were straight up about caffeine causing all this damage, right? But then the caffeine industry said, we're going to do our own studies. So as the years go by, it's like caffeine's good for you. Cacao's good for you. Coffee's good for you, right? And so they went against conventional science. Whose science is right? Science battles science all the time. I'm actually going to talk about it on Instagram later. If you guys come to me to Instagram later, I think we're going to really kind of rip into that a little bit. If you guys are up for it. I got some limes. I got some lemons sitting right here. I'm going to use that in this. So we get addicted to caffeine. Our adrenals go crazy. Our adrenals go crazy right here. Okay? We get addicted to fats. We fat ourselves to death. There's no fat in this dish. I get it. You guys eat avocado. It's okay. Eat avocado. You guys eat tahini. It's okay. Those are healthier fats, right? They are. Some of you guys are eating chicken. It's not the healthiest fat. We know that, right? Chicken fat clog up the heart, kill you down the road, right? I'm not saying you can't eat chicken. The reason why medical medium information is pro people who eat animal proteins too is because chicken isn't going to feed all the viruses that keep everybody sick. So if you're somebody that's into chicken, yeah, you can have a little bit, but you eat too much chicken, you can kill yourself. But I've also seen plant-based people kill themselves by eating too many nut butters and too much fats and too much oils. They'll kill themselves too. They'll get themselves sick down the road, have a heart attack. You don't think plant-based people don't have heart attacks? Yeah, they have heart attacks. They eat too much fat. Everybody's eating too much fat. And then we fat ourselves to death. And now we're told, oh, you gotta have fat, healthy fat, much fat as you can. Your brain needs it. Did you know fat stops glucose from getting to your brain and your brain dies within 10 seconds of not getting that glucose? I told you guys that a couple minutes ago. So I want to finish this a little bit, okay? So when you're doing all the avocado, nuts and seeds, nut butters, oils, right? When you're doing all that, avocados, nut butters, oils, right? When you're doing all that, okay? You're stopping glucose from getting to the brain at its maximum. So it's always like a lesser amount getting to the brain. And you get hungry. Fat makes you want to eat more and more fat. People say sugar makes me want to eat more and more sugar. Oh no, that's sugar with fat that makes you want to eat more and more sugar. That's sugar with fat that makes you want to eat more and more sugar. That's what that is, okay? That's important to know. Got some mashed potatoes here. I'm going to put some lime in here. Mashed potatoes in the pan, right? See if we could squeeze this lime. I'm having a problem here with this one. This one's slippery. Potato can be a little slippery when it's on your hands. TikTok, the handle, not the app. TikTok, the handle says seeds. So that you're talking about flax seeds. Look, you can. They're healthy. They're healthy fats, flax seeds and avocado. If you guys are going to eat fats, that's the ones to do. Sesame seeds, hemp seeds, pumpkin seeds. Those are the best ones. Sunflower seeds are good too, right? You can do that. But keep in mind, if you're sick, too much fat is not going to let you heal all the way. Animal protein or plant-based. Keep that in mind. Animal protein or plant-based. Okay? Animal protein people now are eating avocados and nuts and seeds. They didn't used to eat all that, but now they do. But keep in mind about this. This is important. That got some mashed potatoes in here. A little bit. I'm going to put some peas in here too. Keep in mind that the more fat you dump in your system, the less glucose gets to the brain. So you're going to have eating issues. You're going to be like, I'm hungry all the time. That's your brain saying, I'm hungry because you're not letting me get enough glucose. You're not giving me 3 mangoes when I need it in the morning. You're not giving me the heavy metal detox smoothie with the glucose, with the bananas. And the industry wants you afraid of bananas. Be open-hearted. Good to see you. The industry wants you afraid of bananas, right? The industry wants you afraid of that. They don't want you eating bananas. They don't want you eating bananas. No way. Can I add a little bit more water to this? That's what I'm going to do. The industry doesn't want you having bananas. They think it's too much sugar. So what's going to happen is you're going to be on fat, and then you're eventually going to eat the bad sugar is what you're going to do. You're going to have the bad sugar is what's going to happen. So adding a little touch of water to the mashed potatoes, which will eventually dry up, but you need it when you're putting in some peas. And that's a thing there too. So I'm going to pop in some peas into this. Pan's going to get nice and hot. There we go. You have to add a little bit of moisture into the pan or you get a hash brown pancake. So that's what you'll get. Ashley Kibben, good to see you. So nice to see you too as well, okay? So we're going to make some mashed potatoes like we're doing. I have some lettuce here too. I just put some lime in there. I'm going to pop some lemon in a little bit as well. It's a basic dish. So what happens is if you're not getting critical needed nutrients to the brain on a regular basis, the brain will go deficient. And if your brain goes deficient of glucose, if it goes deficient because we're eating too much fat blocks sugar from entering brain cells. But the survival of life allows some to enter, but we go into a deficiency is what we do. That deficiency makes us now hungry, and then we're doing more fat or bad sugar with fat because our body's like, why am I sugar craving, but yet you're eating fat with sugar? Why am I sugar craving, but you're eating fat with sugar? You're still blocking the glucose from getting to the brain is what you're doing. See how it works? That's how it works. Tom Posky says, do carnivore people survive because of sugar in the meat? It's how they survive. Sugar in the meat. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough because you got fat in the meat too. But you survive on carnivore. You can survive on carnivore because the sugar, meat has sugar in it. I love when people say, well, I'm on a sugar-free diet. I'm eating just meat. I'm like, that's funny. Because the cow had a lot of sugar in its blood, and that red meat is all sugar. And that's what that is. Sugar in eggs or sugar in... You know why there's a lot of sugar in eggs? Did you guys know that eggs are sweet? When you have an egg, they're sweet. Did you know cheese is sweet too? Well, let's cover the egg. The egg's an important one as far as like sweetness. Okay? When you have an egg, you'll notice it's kind of sweet. Right? It is. There's a reason why it's sweet. It's sweet because glucose is how the chick, can actually start to become a chicken, like grow, develop. Glucose is critical. If you don't have glucose, ain't going to be a baby chick. Listen to the podcast episode, Medical Medium Podcast at Apple Podcasts. I'm juggling a lot of things here, you guys. Forgive me. Listen to the fruit fear episode too. If you're afraid of bananas, if you're lost in the world of fat and protein. This isn't anti-animal protein talk we're doing right now. This is an anti-plant-based, vegetarian, vegan talk. It's not it at all. You can fat yourself to death as a vegan and a plant-based person. You can still get a heart attack down the road. You can still stay sick and not heal. You can easily fat yourself to death. You can salt yourself to death. You can do a lot of things that aren't good. And here's the deal, right? The details matter. If someone's stuck in this vicious cycle and they're just in this vicious cycle, they can't break out of it. They're overeating. They don't feel good. They're overeating. They're told to eat, healthier fats. They're eating more of that too. But they don't know how to break from this. They don't know how to recover. All these little pieces of information and critical needed details all matter right now that we're talking about. Okay? So what I like to do, all right? By the way, you guys, Medical Meeting Morning Cleanse Challenge this week coming up. It's going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's what I'm shooting for. The Medical Medium Morning Cleanse Challenge. It's going to get crazy. I'm going to be doing lives on Thursday, lives on Friday, lives on Saturday. We're going to be doing the Medical Medium Morning Cleanse Challenge. I haven't promoted it yet. I haven't posted about it yet, but I'm just giving you guys a 411. That's the goal right there. The more stress you're under, the more glucose you need. Not the more fat you need. The more stress you're under, the more sugar you need for your brain. But we end up craving pizza, so we crave the bad sugar. We end up creating ice cream, so we crave the bad sugar. We end up craving spaghetti because we but there's fat on everything with this sugar. Your pizza's fat and sugar, so the sugar never gets to the brain. Mashed potatoes are coming out really nice right now. So the sugar, the glucose never gets to your brain because you're doing too much fat. But we end up craving the pizza again, and then again, and again, and we eat ourselves sick, and then we crave it again, and we eat ourselves sick. Then it's nachos night. Then we're doing nachos because we're craving all that cheese and that corn chip. We're creating nachos. We're craving that corn chip and the cheese. Then we're craving tacos because we're craving that cheese on top of your your corn shell, taco shell. Then you're craving a hot dog, a cheeseburger because cheese in the bun, all that sugar. And then it keeps your adrenaline pumping because your adrenaline's like, holy crap, you're going to kill us. You're putting so much fat in your system, you're going to kill our heart. That's what you're going to do. You're gonna destroy our heart. That's what you're doing. I got a heart right here. You keep on doing the pizzas. You keep on doing the ice cream. You got so much fat going on here that your adrenals are now pumping 24/7. There's your adrenals. They're pumping 24/7. Thin out the blood. Thin out the blood. That person's killing themselves. We got to thin out the blood because the heart can't pump through all that fat. The heart can't do it. Right, Austin? Like the heart can't pump all that fat. That's how it works. So your adrenals are pumping. Got a lot juggling around here. This is getting crazy over here. Your adrenals right here. You see this? You guys on Clubhouse. The adrenals I'm holding right here. They're dumping in adrenaline because it's trying to thin out your blood. Did you know that your adrenaline is a blood thinner? You dump in more fat. Your adrenals got to release all this adrenaline. And now you're addicted to fat and adrenaline all in the same mix. You can't break it. Fat high is real, Maggie Bertola says. Oh, damn right it's real. Ho, 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 is it real? I got to put some peas in this really quick. Just please bear with me. You don't have to have a lot of peas. These are some frozen peas. I'm going to put some here, not all of these. This is a pack of frozen peas. Right? There you go. Callie Smith, I'd love to hear some tips on how to get yourself to eat more of the healing foods when you don't enjoy them. You got to bring in the fruit because fruit is satisfying in many ways because it's so sweet. It's actually not really that sweet when you think about it. A banana doesn't have that much sugar in it, but still it's sweet. Sweetness counts when it comes down to that. Papayas, mangoes, do some watermelon. Watermelon, you guys, I hope you're starting up the watermelons. You do that on an empty stomach in the morning is a great time to do it. So I got some peas in here. I'm going to put a little lemon in here too. This is coming out really good. You got to get some fruit in there and you got to get some mineral salts in there. Trace mineral salts, the celery juice. Takes time to learn how to love the celery juice for a lot of people. You know, it doesn't seem like it's fun to eat. Drink. It's fun to drink. So I got some peas in here. I'm going to get these cooking. Got some mashed potato. Some beautiful peas in here. If you guys can see that right there. You guys see? It's right there. This is a comfort food. If you want to put sea salt in there, because I get it, a lot of people are going to eat salt every day. It doesn't matter what medical medium says. It doesn't matter if medical medium says be careful about your salt. You're going to eat it. So just put some sea salt in there if that's what you're going to do. You can put some black pepper in there if you really want. You can do that. Cayenne pepper is a great one for here too. Putting cayenne pepper in here. Onion powder is a great one. You can really make this taste so good. Taste buds change over time when you incorporate pieces in. We need some willpower too. It takes a little time to get the willpower going. Where taste buds change, they develop. You end up liking those mangoes. You end up liking those grapes, cherries, apples, bananas, peaches, plums, nectarines, melons, honeydew melons, Crenshaw melons, watermelons. Need I say more? But we're taught We're taught to keep our addictions around. Did you know that? We're taught that if you want to lose weight, you better just stop eating and you better get on caffeine. And then now you're on caffeine all day long and you stopped eating and now you're eating your one meal a day at the end of the day. That ain't going to last long. You'll burn those adrenals out. They'll come crashing down the road. All kinds of problems will happen. You'll age fast because you're running on caffeine all the time. Your adrenals will not forgive you when you caffeine them to crazy land. When you caffeine your adrenals to crazy land, when you caffeine the heck out of them over the years, then when you do eat, you're dumping in all that fat, whether it's plant-based or animal-based. You know, Spirit of Compassion is the voice of reason, not me. I'm just delivering the message. Adrenals are working hard anyway. You're up against a little bit of stress. You had a breakup, maybe a falling out with a friendship, maybe a business partner, maybe a family member, maybe a sibling, some stress there. Our adrenals are already under stress. Were you driving on the road and had a little accident? Boom, your adrenals are running for a day and a night. We already have adrenals pumping all the time. We already get little bits of fight or flight all the time. They're working overtime. So all of a sudden, let's just dump a whole bunch of caffeine in there and just blow them the shit out. Just blow those adrenals out. Just annihilate them. Let's just do that. And make sure, let's just do a lot of high fat too and soak up that adrenaline and then get addicted with adrenaline, get addicted with the fat. Let's make sure we do lots of chocolate too. Let's go into our happy place and tank a bunch of chocolate. I get it. Life is hard, but we have to do some things to take care of ourselves too. We got to do some celery juice. Dr. Fon, might as well face it, we're addicted. I get it. So you dump all the fat in. Your adrenals are pumping to thin it out to try to save your life every day. Your heart is trying to pump your blood and it's really thick and it's trying to pump it. But there's so much fat in the blood that's hard to pump it. And then your adrenals have to release more adrenaline to thin out that blood. And then all to try to get glucose to your brain. All to try to get some glucose here. Because guess what? In 5 seconds, if the brain doesn't have glucose, it starts its journey of death. In 10 seconds, it can die. 10 seconds without glucose, your brain can start dying. Tissue in your brain starts dying without glucose. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Yep. Less than that. 10 seconds is just, starts to die less than that. So we're taught to be high chasers. Are you guys high chasers? Right? I got some peas in here. I put frozen peas in here. Such a simple dish. Frozen peas. Come on. We're getting frozen peas. Alex Lang. AW, sometimes I feel better when I eat fat, like avocados or seeds. Sometimes I feel worse. Alex, good to see you. Honored you're here. What happens is when we eat fat, we get the adrenaline surge. Because the adrenaline has to thin out the fat. It has to thin the viscosity level. It has to break it down. The consistency has to break that fat consistency down. That's what happens. Basically, so you need gasoline to break down that butter. I'm not telling you to eat gasoline. That's not it at all. What I'm saying is your adrenaline acts like gasoline to break up that butter. You drop down some bread and butter, you eat a stick of butter, you have butter in a dish, you got butter in your pan, I don't care how wholesome the butter is. I don't care if you went out there and milked a cow and churned your own butter. It's still going to be filling up your bloodstream so that your adrenals have to thin it out. It has to thin it out. Because when you have too much fat in your bloodstream, you can't get all the glucose you need to the brain. So you go 50% glucose to the brain. Now you're 30% glucose to the brain. Now you're less. I get it. The medical medium channels, they're not so fun because it's when you go and you're looking at other stuff, it's like, oh, that makes sense. The immune system's all in your microbiome. No, it's not. But it seems like a happy place. Wait a minute, I need lots of fats because I need fats for my brain. That's great. Caffeine's actually good for me. I should do some matcha tea and everything because I'm told it's good for me. I can have some vinegar on everything I eat because apple cider vinegar is good for me. It's like it's endless misinformation to put everybody in kind of a happy station of health. So hey, I'm doing healthy foods. And then when you get sick, you're totally effed over. Totally. By all the people that actually was just like giving you all that, meaning like the people at the top giving you all that information that's wrong. People die of strokes and heart attacks all the time at all ages, whether they're plant-based, vegan, vegetarian alike, pescatarian, I don't know, come up with something else, right? Animal protein, keto, carnivore. Carnivore, I worry about the carnivore diet for people. I worry about people with it because carnivore diet's the Atkins diet, and it really killed a lot of people. That's what I was told. You know, I was told that by a lot of doctors, this is looking good here, over the years, that they saw a decline in their patients on like the Atkins diet. I was told that all the time. So this is done. I'm going to put this in a bowl. The carnivore diet's the same thing. It's just a remake of it. The reason why people feel a little bit better, this is a real comfort for sure. But here's the thing, the butter's not in here. Okay? The butter's not in here. Now, if you're going to be someone and you're going to eat fat anyway, and I'm not going to be able to stop you from eating it every day, 3 times a day, right? I'm just telling you, maybe bring it down, right? I'm not trying to punish you guys. Be the food police or something. It's not it. I'm just saying if you're sick and you got symptoms, you got aches and pains, you got chronic fatigue, your brain fog is off the chart, you got anxiety, crippling anxiety, you got depression, you got depersonalization, you got whatever's going on, lower the fats. Yeah, you need other tools too. You need your celery juice, you need your heavy metal detox smoothies, you need your supplement protocols, you need to know how to take the B12. Like, people are afraid to take B12 because like, well, my B12 registered pretty good on my blood test. Well, I talk to doctors all the time and I'm like, well, what is your brain? What blood test determined what kind of B12 is actually in your brain? There's no blood test that could determine that. Did they stick a needle inside your skull right into your brain, draw it out and be like, yeah, your brain has plenty of B12? Nobody knows. Nobody knows how the central nervous system works out there. But what I get from Spirit of Compassion is you got to have your B12. That's got to be the right one, of course. That's the Vimergy, by the way. I'm not sponsored, but that's the Vimergy B12. So, I'm just saying that a lot of people are taught a lot of bad habits and we're not taught anything from the start. That we're not taught how to eat right from the start. That's the whole thing. You know what's funny? If you were taught how to eat right from the start, okay? If you were taught how to eat right from the very beginning, all right, you guys? There'd be a whole different game going on. So if everybody was throwing the cheeseburger, if you were taught how to eat right from the start for years, like everything, the institutions taught us how to eat right, medical science and research taught us how to eat right, which they don't, obviously, right? Institutions taught us how to eat right. School systems taught us how to eat right. Our families taught us how to eat right because of that being passed down, right? If we all knew how to take care of ourselves, right? Well, a couple of things would go wrong terribly. The medical industry would just collapse, so they can't have that. They need you to eat wrong, you know? And did I ever tell you guys, there's a whole bunch of plants in alternative medicine. You know what plants are? They're experts planted in alternative medicine by the conventional industry, the medical industry, to try to keep on feeding people the bad trends and ingraining it in everybody so that you stay sick. So there's moles and plants all in the alternative industry. You guys don't even know it. The friendliest faces, you guys have no idea. And they were given money, they were given deals. Deals were made, contracts were signed, and they were put out there to make sure that you hear the same old crap. Your brain needs lots of fat. That's a great way to make sure your Alzheimer's gets so much worse down the road. You can add hot pepper to this right here, so I got some hot peppers in my hand. This is some super chilies. I grew these myself. So some super chilies there. Garlic powder is another thing you can put on here. Onion powder is another thing you can put on here. But that's mashed potatoes with peas. The peas aren't cooked to death. They're just, they're lightly cooked in here, right? And just so you guys know, I'm doing the Medical Medium Morning Cleanse Challenge Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's from Cleanse to Heal. So if you guys don't have the book, you might want to pick up the book for the morning cleanse. So Amazon.com, $16.99. It costs more to print the book out. It's a medical textbook with over 200 symptoms and conditions. I'm just giving you a 411 on how this book works. You can get it free at the library too if you can get a copy that way. Thursday morning, doing the Medical Medium Morning Cleanse Challenge. It's from Cleanse to Heal. So if you got, if you don't have a copy, maybe grab one or borrow one from a friend or ask someone to share theirs. A lot of people have 2 copies. So anyway, Amazon.com, it's on sale too in the U.S. and it's on sale, I think, other places as well. Let's get the heart out of the way here. And I'm doing the brain meditation tonight. If you guys want to join in, it's not going to be like online or anything. I'm just going to be sitting in my living room. Actually, with the brain meditation, I'm going to be laying down in my living room. And I'm going to go to Medical Being Podcast at Apple Podcast. And I'm going to listen to the brain meditation episode. I'm going to do it 3 times tonight. I need it desperately, personally, because I'm doing double time on writing a book and trying to get the deadline into the publisher. I am working. That's why you guys saw me disappear. Because when the deadline gets worse and worse and closer, I start freaking out and working harder and harder. And my adrenals are going, boom, boom, boom. My adrenals are doing this. But you know what I'm doing for my stress is I am doing the mineral salts. Let me show you what I'm doing. Let me show you guys what I'm doing, okay? What I'm doing, all right? Here's what I'm doing. I'm doing my celery juice course, right? Okay? I'm doing my B12. That's what I'm doing. I'm cranking my Micro C, cranking it. For my stress right now, because I'm trying to get the book deadline in. Boom, book deadline done, right? I got the magnesium going, right? That's the Vimergy magnesium right there, okay? That's what I'm doing to manage my stress right now. I'm doing, like for me, you ask your doctor what's right for you, but for me, I'm doing 6 capsules of magnesium, 3 capsules twice a day. Sometimes I'll do 4 twice a day. I'm doing 10 capsules twice a day of the Micro C, the Vimergy Micro C. I'm not sponsored. I'm just telling you what guys I'm doing to manage stress. I'm doing 6 dropperfuls of B12 right now, every day, to manage my stress because of the book deadline. I can't wait to get that thing in, because then I can tell you guys what it is. That's what I'm doing. That's just a few things I'm doing, just letting you know. So listen, doing the brain meditation tonight, Medical Being Podcast, Apple Podcast. But here's where I'm going. I am going to IG, Instagram. I'm turning TikTok back on, and I'm turning Clubhouse back on. And I'm going to Instagram. I'll be there in probably 10 minutes. I just got to clean up the set just a little bit and get ready. I'm in a spicy mood tonight, so I don't know what's going to happen on IG. Someone said the other day, you think you watched him on YouTube and Facebook? Well, and then you think he's going to do the same thing on IG? Well, no, he never does. Something happens on IG. And I got a bone to pick with science and research lately because they're screwing up everywhere. Science and research is screwing up everywhere. So I got a bone to pick with science and research. Probably going to talk about it on IG. I love you guys. I'll see you then, okay? A few minutes. So just keep on looking out. Instagram, Medical Medium page. I love you guys dearly. And we're going to cover this topic again, too, because I know you know what? In IG, I'll talk about more of the emotional eating stuff and the overeating stuff a little bit more. Margaret Valentine, good to see you. Awesome. You guys on TikTok? I love you too. And I'll talk to you guys soon.